Welcome to a peaceful journey into tonight's heartwarming story. Heather and the Garden Guardian. This story is about a girl named Heather and a garden guardian named Muck, who together nurtured a garden, learning and embodying the essence of growth and resilience through their shared efforts. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, there lived a young girl named Heather. Heather had a radiant smile that could brighten even the gloomiest days. She cherished the garden behind her cottage, a verdant haven filled with blooming flowers and towering trees. Among these was an ancient oak tree that seemed to possess a life of its own. Little did Heather know, this oak tree was home to a garden guardian named Muck. Muck was a whimsical creature with delicate wings and a gentle heart. One spring morning, Heather discovered Muck while tending to the roses. With a twinkle in his eye, Muck introduced himself and explained that he was the caretaker of the garden. Heather was intrigued and delighted to learn about the magical being. As the seasons changed, Muck and Heather became the best of friends. Muck taught Heather how to communicate with the plants, understand their needs, and nurture them with love. He showed her how to plant seeds with intentions, ensuring that each one would bloom beautifully. Heather's garden flourished under their care, each flower telling a story of growth and perseverance. One summer day, a severe storm struck the village, causing great damage to the garden. Heather was heartbroken to see her beloved sanctuary in ruins. With tears in her eyes, she turned to Muck for support. Muck comforted her and gently reminded her of the garden's resilience, explaining that growth often comes through challenges. Together, they worked tirelessly to restore the garden, replanting every seed and tending to every wounded plant. As they toiled, something magical happened. The garden seemed to respond to their love and care with renewed vigor. Blooms that had never been seen before graced the garden, and the trees seemed sturdier. Heather felt a deep sense of accomplishment and realized the true meaning of growth. The garden, now even more beautiful and vibrant than before, became a symbol of hope and renewal for the whole village. People came from far and wide to witness the miraculous transformation. Heather and Muck's friendship deepened, built on a foundation of shared effort and unwavering belief in the power of growth. They continued to care for the garden together, celebrating each new bloom and standing strong through every storm. And so, in the heart of the village, Heather and Muck thrive, embodying the essence of growth, resilience, and the timeless bond between a human and a garden guardian. Another tale begins to bring you rest. Primrose and the Celestial Being. His story is about a young girl named Primrose, who finds a sense of belonging through a celestial being named Lullabies. Upon a time in a small village nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, there lived a young girl named Primrose. She had a heart as pure as the morning dew, and a smile that could light up the darkest night. Primrose often felt a sense of longing. Though she was loved by her family and friends, she yearned for something more, something she could quite name. One quiet evening, as the sky blushed with the hues of sunset, Primrose wandered into the forest. Her feet seemed to have a mind of their own, leading her deeper and deeper among the towering trees. She wasn't afraid. The forest was an old friend, its paths and sounds as familiar to her as her own thoughts. As night began to fall, a soft, blue light appeared in the clearing ahead. Curiosity piqued, Primrose stepped forward and gasped. Before her stood a being of immense beauty and grace, with shimmering blue wings that looked like they had been dipped in the night sky and dusted with stardust. "Hello, Primrose," the being said, in a voice that was both serene and ethereal. "I am Bluebonnet, a celestial being. I have been watching over you, feeling your longing and your dreams. Primrose felt an immediate connection to Bluebonnet as if she were meeting a long-lost friend. They sat together in the moonlit clearing, and Bluebonnet shared stories of the cosmos, of distant stars and realms beyond human understanding. Primrose listened, enraptured, her heart swelling with a sense of belonging she had never felt before. She realized that her longing was not for a place, but for a connection to the universe itself. Bluebonnet explained that everyone has a place in the grand tapestry of existence, a role only they can fulfill. You, Primrose, bring light and warmth to those around you. Your kindness and courage inspire others more than you know. Primrose smiled, feeling a sense of purpose and contentment wash over her. As dawn approached, Bluebonnet prepared to leave. Remember, Primrose, you are never alone. The universe is vast, but every star, every being is connected. You belong here, and your presence matters. With a final, radiant smile, Bluebonnet soared into the sky, leaving a trail of sparkling light in her wake. Primrose watched until the light faded, and the first chirps of morning birds filled the air. She returned to her village, her heart light and her spirit renewed. She embraced her family and friends, sharing the stories and wisdom that Bluebonnet had imparted. From that day on, Primrose never felt the same longing. She understood that she was a unique part of a vibrant, interconnected universe and she belonged exactly where she was. Another gentle tale is ready to be shared. Memories of Flower and Curious, Ethan Campanula. This story is about a girl named Flower and a curious kitten named Campanula who create unforgettable memories together through their adventures. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village surrounded by blooming meadows, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Flower and a curious kitten named Campanula. Flower had gentle eyes that sparkled with kindness, and Campanula had a coat as white as the petals of the bellflowers, from which it got its name. Every day, the inseparable duo roamed the countryside, making new memories together. They explored the lush green forests, discovering hidden streams and gathering colorful flowers. In the evenings, they sat under the ancient oak tree, where Flower would share stories from her past, while Campanula listened intently, its tiny paws kneading the grass. One day, during their adventure, they stumbled upon an old, weathered book lying beneath a gazebo blanketed in ivy. Flower carefully picked it up and dusted it off. The pages were yellowed and brittle, but inside, they found beautiful illustrations and tales of yore. As Flower read aloud, the words seemed to come to life, painting vivid pictures in their minds. They imagined themselves as characters in the stories, with Flower as a brave heroine and Campanula as her faithful companion. Each tale brought them closer, deepening their bond. As seasons changed, so did their adventures. In spring, they chased butterflies through fields of tulips, their laughter echoing across the valley. In summer, they swam in the crystal-clear lake, the sun warming their fur and skin. Autumn brought a harvest of apples and pumpkins, and they spent crisp afternoons baking pies and making cider. Winter blanketed the village in snow, and they built snowmen and shared hot cocoa by the fire. But one day, Flower received a letter from a distant land, inviting her to study at a prestigious academy. With a heavy heart, she knew she had to go. Campanula mewed softly, sensing the upcoming separation. Flower packed her belongings, including the old book that had become a treasure trove of memories. On the day of departure, they visited their favorite places one last time. Flower whispered promises to return, and as she turned to leave, Campanula nudged the book into her bag. Years passed, and true to her word, Flower returned, now grown and wise. Campanula, slightly older, but as spirited as ever, greeted her with joyful purrs. They revisited their old haunts, the memories rushing back like a well-loved song. Under the ancient oak, Flower opened the book, its pages filled with their shared adventures. They spent the afternoon reminiscing, their bond stronger than ever. And so, in the quaint little village, surrounded by blooming meadows, Flower and Campanula continued to create new memories, savoring every moment of their heartwarming friendship. Let's continue our peaceful journey with another tale. Poppy and Flower. This story is about a young girl named Poppy and an ant named Flower, who form a beautiful friendship and create a sanctuary of safety and love together. In a small village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a young girl named Poppy. Poppy had bright, curious eyes that sparkled with the delight of discovery. Every day after school, she would explore the meadows that stretched endlessly behind her home. One golden afternoon, Poppy stumbled upon something extraordinary, a tiny ant struggling with an immense burden. This industrious ant, whose name was Flower, was trying to move a large crumb back to her colony. Intrigued, Poppy knelt down and softly spoke to Flower, offering her help. Flower hesitated, her tiny antennae twitching in confusion. But sensing Poppy's kindness, she nodded. Together, they devised a plan. Poppy gently cupped her hands, forming a safe haven where Flower could place the crumb without it rolling away. Flower, grateful for this unexpected sanctuary, guided Poppy to a hidden entrance at the base of an ancient oak tree. They approached the door. Flower chirped a sequence of signals, and the small, circular door swung open. Inside was a bustling room, a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers where ants worked tirelessly. The colony's queen, a regal ant with shimmering wings, approached and listened intently as Flower explained how Poppy had offered her aid. The queen expressed immense gratitude, and to honor Poppy, she invited her to visit the colony anytime she wished. Poppy was enchanted. She marveled at the intricate structures, the unity and order of the ants, and the caring community spirit that pervaded the colony. She visited often, bringing small gifts like grains and bits of fruit. The ants, in return, showed her the art of foraging and the secrets of their tiny sanctuary. One chilly autumn evening, a fierce storm ravaged the village. Poppy was worried about her tiny friends, so she rushed to the oak tree. The entrance was partially blocked by fallen branches. Frantically, Poppy cleared the debris and called out to Flower. Flower appeared, her antennae waving in relief. Poppy helped reinforce their tunnels, using twigs and leaves to secure the fragile walls. As the wind howled outside, the ants worked together, guided by Poppy's instructions. The storm eventually passed, but not without leaving its mark. The next morning, as the sun rose, the village awoke to see the devastation. However, the ant colony had stood strong, a testament to their resilience and the sanctuary that Poppy had helped to protect. The ants celebrated by sharing their food with Poppy, a small feast to show their thanks. From that day forward, Poppy and Flower's bond grew even stronger. Poppy realized that sanctuary was not just a place, but a feeling of safety and love shared among friends. Poppy's small village came to be known as a place where humans and ants coexisted in harmony, and the story of Poppy and Flower became a cherished tale passed down through generations. May this story stay with you as you drift into a peaceful sleep.